I'm trying to think of an intro, but I can't. So I'll just go with that one. Hello there, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Platinum Impressions. I talk, maybe you listen, but no one listens anyway. So, today, I'd like to talk with you about a new game that came out recently, and you probably don't know what it is, judging from the title of the video. I'm going to talk about my thoughts on Pokémon Sun and Moon, the newest generation of Pokémon games that came out about a week and a half ago. And yeah, it's been pretty fun. I've been playing non-stop, help. But before I go into my thoughts on Sun and Moon, I want to actually briefly go over my thoughts on DuckTales Remastered, since I couldn't really think of any sort of script for it. I couldn't really write anything that I wanted to say, and I had, blocks of ideas, really. So, to briefly go over the DuckTales of the Remasters, WayForward definitely knows what made the original version very fun, and they remastered it very well. Speaking as someone who has never even played the original version, ever. The soundtrack is one of Jake Kaufman's best. The remixes are really awesome. The Moon remix is amazing. As well as, Mount Vesuvius, Transylvania, all the good stuff. The control is very tight. The stage design complements the gameplay very well. Look at me, I'm trying to talk like a game designer even though I'm not really. And the art style looks like it's ripped straight out of one of the recent Shantae games, honestly. It really does look like that. WayForward definitely knows how to make good 2D games. If you like the original NES game, or you just wanted to see what DuckTales is all about, from the Capcoms, then get this for your Xbox, PS3, Wii U, whatever. It's not that much. You can get it digital or physical, whatever. Anywho, Pokemon's time. So Pokemon is now 20 years old. I've been a fan of this series ever since I chose Pokemon Red for my Game Boy in 1998. And ever since I got my very first Pokemon, Charmander, it has become my favorite RPG series of all time. Yes, I know Xenoblade Chronicles is my favorite video game of all time, but goddammit, I can't deny that Pokemon is still amazing too. I played all the generations and seen what there is to see for what Pokemon games have become in recent years. That is to say, more story and character-driven games. Which is why I'm so glad when trailer upon trailer was coming out throughout the months until release day of Pokemon Sun and Moon, they didn't really show any sort of plot elements, because that was the thing I was most interested in. Considering, how much Pokemon Sun and Moon were seemingly changing up the Pokemon formula from, collecting badges, stopping evil team, becoming champion, to, well, essentially the same concept, except it feels different enough from previous games in the series to be considered an exceedingly fresh experience. And I do have to say, after playing like over 40 hours of it so far, and pretty much experiencing, everything that the game has to offer, well, almost everything, really. I do have to say, though, Pokemon Sun and Moon is definitely worth your time. If, you consider, all the Pokemon games are the same. You collect badges, you stop an evil team, whatever. And it's like I said, it's different. And it's different enough to be considered fresh, So anyway, plot. So, you are an 11-year-old boy or girl, yes, 11, they're changing up the formula, like I said, who's moved from Kanto to the new region of Alola, which is basically Hawaii. You meet up with another tree named Professor, of course, who is known as Kikui, who offers the chance for you to take the Island Challenge, which all 11-year-olds in Alola take to become the Island Champion. Along the way, you meet up with another trial goer named Hao, who is your rival at this game, who is a happy little boy, and Lily, Kikui's assistant, who is on a personal journey to return her Cosmog to its home. And of course, you have to deal with the evil team along the way, called Team Skull. Okay, I'm gonna debunk every theory about Team Skull's Ultimatum for those of you who hadn't played the games yet. They are thugs, they are gangsters, and they are hilarious. Before the game came out, they had a special demo version, which you can still get off the eShop, by the way, for free. And when I ran into the Team Skull grunts for the first time in that demo, I knew immediately that I was going to freaking love these guys. Their design, their music, their dialogue. It's perfect. It's perfectly hilarious and truly fits their style. And in the actual game, they're even better than I hoped. We hadn't had hilarity like this ever since Team Galactic and Diamond Pearl Platinum. And my favorite bits from them? Their mad raps, and the fact that we battle them on Route 10 over a bus stop. No joke, a bus stop. It made me die of laughter. I was like laughing for like a full minute. It was so hilarious. Man. Just Team Skull is probably like, you know, I know the games just came out like a week and a half ago, but I don't care. Team Skull are the best. Like, Team Galactic was really good and surprisingly very underrated. And, you know, they were the best for a time, but Team Skull, they don't want world domination. They just like causing trouble for people. They want to steal Pokemon because they want to. They're hilarious, and, you know, that's all you need. You don't need the Mafia or arguments over land, over sea, or PETA, or, you know, a team that makes the world beautiful by that genocide. All you need is just, you know, mad raps, and, you know, you're good. It's just basically you're good. I can't say enough good about Team Skull. They're so good. But, you know, aside from Team Skull, I do like the characters, too. Lily, without giving too much away, because, again, this game is still relatively new, you know, she starts off kind of basic, you know, but then she gets better. Like, a lot better. And that's all I'm going to say about that. Hal, your rival, is a happy man. That's about it. Gladion, your rival for this game, is an edgelord. He's the one with the hair, and all that. And, you know, he does his battle stance like, you know, Sasuke is preparing a Chidori or something. But, you know, again, he gets better as a character without giving anything too much away. There are also other characters, too, whether returning or new, that are particularly interesting, but again, I won't spoil. Just play the game. You'll be good. As for the overall story, usually Pokemon games just get you started right away with your starter and the journey. Pokemon Sun and Moon, however, admittedly do take a while for the plot to actually, you know, get going. Like, I've been tweeting about this a lot, like, for 10 straight hours of gameplay. Well, not really 10 total hours, 10 straight hours, but for 10 total hours of gameplay, I was asking, where the heck is the plot at? Because, you know, you're just on your island challenge. You get to experience, you know, the characters and everything. With a few bits of plot here and there. But, you know, just, the plot may take a while to get going, but once it starts getting going, it starts to get going. You just gotta trudge through that slow-ass beginning, because, you know, I will admit something. As much as I really like this game, it takes, like, a very long time for, you know, to, you know, get really, really started. Because, you know, for about an hour, you get to, you know, just listen to characters talking and talking and talking. It's just cutscene heavy. It's like the slowest start to any given Pokemon game. Like, for me personally, and they don't usually do that. I don't know. You just gotta trudge through that beginning in order to get to the really good stuff. I'll just say that right now. But, you know, again, once the plot gets going, it really does get going. And that's all I'll say about that. So, aside from essentially having the same battle mechanics you've been using since Pokemon X and Y, there's also the new Z moves that Pokemon can dish out. Basically, from the start, you get a Z ring. And as you complete each island trial, which there are 7 in total, you get a Z crystal that corresponds to each Pokemon type. Sometimes even corresponding with a certain Pokemon, like, you know, your starter, the event Munchlax that you get. Well, not the event Munchlax, just you get Snorlax's Z crystal for the event, which is still going on, by the way. Get it. Or even Pikachu, even. You just equip it onto your Pokemon, and you can take advantage of the Z moves, which can be used once per battle. Not only can the Z moves actually save your life sometimes, but the Z move animations are absolutely amazing to watch. Like, all the animations seriously remind me of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, I swear. Even though I've only experienced JoJo through clips, I know for a fact that this is all, JoJo inspired. And, the biggest example of this can be taken with the fighting type Z move called All Out Pummeling, which is basically a character going, order, 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 order. I know I'm not making it seem like it, but, they basically go, order, 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 order. Just, yeah. But, anyway, the 7 island trials that you partake in, they aren't actually all the same. They're surprisingly very varied, to be honest. Very varied. It can either be as basic as, battling a few Pokemon before you eventually get to the totem, or taking pictures with the Pokemon Snap mode on the Pokédex, or even quizzes. And, yeah, they're all pretty enjoyable. They're not really too repetitive or anything. They're all surprisingly very varied, and they're cool. Never forget press A to pound, by the way. Without context, that seems incredibly wrong, but with context, it makes all sense. But they all end with a battle against the Totem Pokemon, which are basically mini-bosses with one or more stats buffed up. Honestly, they're not really that bad, to be honest. Really, the only one I had trouble with was with the 4th Totem Pokemon, the Totem Lurantis, which it basically called for an ally that kept destroying part of my team, that frickin' cast form that kept casting Sunny Day and making Weather Ball Fire type. And I didn't really have a team suited for it, I guess. And, Lurantis just kept on using, Solar Blade on it, and just basically destroyed, part of my team with it. I don't know. It kept hitting, my Snorlax and all that, and I had to keep on healing. And I didn't really have a surplus of healing items because apparently Pokemon decided that, let's either buff or nerf certain prices on items. Really salty about the fact that, some items that have been throughout the series got either buffed or nerfed. Salty about, Hyper Potion being buffed in price, but nerfed in, the health they recover. They used to recover, 200 HP, but now they're 120, which doesn't make any sense. Why? But then again, Super Potion got buffed to 60 HP for recovery, so I guess that's okay. Actually, it isn't really. But yeah. I mentioned that Totem Pokemon can call for help. That's an ability that's not really reserved for just for them, unfortunately. Yeah, that's actually another thing. Not just Totem Pokemon can call for help, but, various wild Pokemon can do the same thing, and it's annoying. When I got to Wela Volcano Park for the first time, in order to get to the 3rd trial, that's when it all started. Like I did with Pokemon X and Y, I was filling out the Pokédex as I went on with the journey. Not completely, but as much as I can. I find a Cubone that I wanted to go for the Pokemon Pokédex, because, it has an Alola form. Well, not really, its evolution has an Alola form, but, so I weaken it, and I catch it. Then it makes its turn, it attacks me. And then it calls for help. The help arrives. Then it began again. I defeat one of them, and it calls for help again. And it works. I defeat it again. It calls for help, and the help shows up, and it just kept going and going and going until 10 minutes later, I finally catch it, because for some reason, Game Freak didn't fix the fact that you can only catch wild Pokemon when you're only facing one of them. That's been a thing. Wild double battles have been a thing since Gen 5, and they didn't even bother to fix that, and it's just, ugh. Jeez. And yeah, Pokemon who can call for help are basically make the battle 2 against 1, and you don't even send out another Pokemon to help. Just, same thing happened with a Magby as well. I ran into a Magby that I really, really wanted because I thought I was going to use it for my team. Except I ran low on Pokeballs and I had to buy some more. Because again, if you don't know where the Amulet Coin is, or if you don't have the Event Munchlax, which has Happy Hour, by the way, which is a move that basically doubles the amount of money you get from Trainer Battle. And besides that, That with an happy hour plus an amulet coin equals quadruple money, and I use that a lot, by the way. And if I didn't know all about that, I would say Pokemon Sun and Moon is probably like the least generous with money. Because everything has either been buffed or nerfed in price. And, you know, hyper potions, like I said, or just regular potions in general, are more I don't know if they call it less cost effective or more cost effective. I don't know. All I know is I just kept running low on money. Whether it's buying clothes because you can custom your trainers again, or the fact that, you know, that I didn't know where the amulet coin is for the longest time until I looked it up. Just, I don't know. Just, SOS battles should be, like, banned from Wild Pokemon. Game Freak seriously needs to, you know, patch that out. Like, honestly. I understand there are some Pokemon that can only be accessed through SOS battles, like Pikachu on Route 1 or Salamence on Route 3, no joke. And mind you, the help doesn't always arrive all the time, but as with every Pokemon game, RNGs can be very, very kind. So, I wouldn't say, it wouldn't be fair to say that SOS battles shouldn't be removed entirely from Wild Pokemon. Just to patch it so that it takes up a turn, rather than, you know, having the Wild Pokemon make its move and then call. Which is just... It's a thing that happens, it's a minor thing, but it's annoying nonetheless if you want to get, you know, your Pokédex all filled out, you know. There's also another new mechanic called Rider Pokemon, which, you know, Alola has. Again, changing up the formula. Basically, you get this item called a Rider Pager, which, you know, you press the X button, you can bring up a list of Pokemon you can ride to help you out. Like Tauros, which is basically your bicycle combined with Rock Smash, Lapras, which is Surf, Stoutland for Item Finder, among other things. And, you know, honestly, it is a great trade-off from HMs and a bike, because they don't exist in Alola. Yeah, those HM moves you've been using for nearly 20 years, they're just delegated to ride Pokemon now. And it feels so alien to say this, but, you know, those HM moves are delegated to TMs. Like, you can get a Fly TM when you get to the third island. And it's just so weird to say, you know, Fly is a TM. It's so weird. So, yeah. One other thing about, you know, Pokemon battles, actually, is the fact that not only do they, you know, continue on with, you know, buffing or nerfing some moves and all that, you know, getting into really technical things about that, but the UI, the user interface, actually states how much attacks will do against opponents. Like, say you're facing off against a grass type, and you've encountered said grass type before, because obviously, you know, the UI won't take in the Pokemon that you meet for the first time, so you have to figure it out on your own. The UI will show you what moves are effective against that certain Pokemon. Like, if they have no effect, it'll say under the move, you know, no effect. Or if it's super effective, it's basically the same thing. There's no way to turn it off, which I was kinda worried about that. But, you know, after playing the game, I think it's honestly implemented very well. Giving veterans something to think over when facing a tough opponent, and giving a newcomer a taste of how the inner workings of Pokemon, you know, really work. I don't know whether or not it works in multiplayer battles, because I haven't really partaken in any Wi-Fi battles. I'm just waiting until Pokemon Bank gets that, you know, Sun and Moon compatibility update so I can transfer all of my Pokemon from Omega Ruby to Pokemon Sun, which is... it's a thing I'm gonna have to wait for. Yeah. So yeah, the UI is really awesome, honestly. Like, they've changed so much about, you know, the gameplay and, you know, the way things are handled. And, you know, it's like I said, it's a very, very refreshing experience. And I think it honestly works really, really well. Especially when considering, you know, you taking on the battle tree, which is basically the battle tower of this game. And, the UI has that, you know, super effective, not very effective, no effect thing right away. So, yeah, that's pretty cool. But of course, all the bells and whistles from X and Y are back. You know, trainer customization is back. You know, you get to choose your skin color, your hair, your clothes, you know. Very happy about that since Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire missed that entirely for some freaking reason. The X and Y experience share is once again back, and it eliminates the need to grind. And of course, just like in X and Y, there is a large variety of Pokemon from all generations to catch, to mix in with the 80 new Pokemon introduced in Sun and Moon. Which, you know, I was kind of disappointed that there were only, like, you know, 60 plus new Pokemon introduced in X and Y. But, you know, 80, I'm okay with. I'm okay with that. Since we basically got Alola variants of older Pokemon. Like, there's Alola Rattata, Alola Raticate, Alolan Raichu, which everyone and their grandma has on their team. Alola Vulpix, Alola Sandshrew, and including the neck! I mean, Alola Exeggutor. I still question you along with Mimikyu, by the way. Yeah, out of all the questionable things in Pokemon, I question Alola Exeggutor and the new Pokemon Mimikyu. I mean, just look at these two. Look at it. How is Alola Exeggutor a grass and dragon type? And what the heck is Mimikyu? I don't know, man. I just don't know. But whatever. I like the new Pokemon that I get to use. Like, I like, you know, the Salandit family, which, you know, people have been, you know, craving for a female Salandit, which only they evolve into Salazzle. I got it on the first try. What the heck are you talking about? There are actually 2 Pokemon in this game that are considerably bad at the beginning. That, you know, they basically suffer from Magikarp syndrome, and that they're very weak when they start out, and when they evolve or use an ability, they get amazing. Like Wimpod and Wishiwashi. Yeah, Wishiwashi. This little fish Pokemon that starts out very weak. But then, you know, Wishiwashi has that ability called Schooling, which only activates at level 20, by the way, which, whatever. And it starts getting amazing. And, you know, all I'm just gonna say is, you'll be absolutely amazed at Wimpod's evolved form, because you are going to have to fight it. I'm not saying where or who has it, but just be prepared. Because that thing is really, really cool, to be honest. Let's see, what else is there for Pokemans? I'm not gonna go, like, too into detail about the new Pokemon, because, you know, this is basically going over my general thoughts, but, you know, I like all the new Pokemon. I mean, some of them I haven't even encountered yet, but trust me, I'm getting a feeling I will like them, nonetheless. The graphics take one step further from Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, which I think they're really good-looking Pokemon games. And, you know, everything looks so vibrant and so colorful, just like Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire does. And if you judge from the trailers, they finally dropped the chibi model character model style that they used up until Omega Ruby. And yeah, they finally have full character models. I know that was a thing in Pokemon Coliseum and XD, but god, it finally took them like 20 years to get it right, and goddamn, they did. And, you know, all the characters look really great. I really like them. The soundtrack is also really great, too. Like, I can't for the life of me remember most of what the root themes sound like. Again, I'm gonna have to play it again just to really get through it. But as for all the Team Skull themes, both encounter and battle themes, the trainer battle, rival battle, Elite Four, champion, and, you know, certain other themes that I won't get into because that would be intensely spoilers, I absolutely adore them. I really do adore them a lot. I believe in this game, not only does it contain my favorite Pokemon battle theme of all time from a previous game, but also contains like 3 battle themes that I consider to be top 10 material. Like, ever since I heard them for the first time, I just can't stop listening to them. And I'm just gonna say this, because there's no going back now, I've decided. The champion theme for Sun and Moon might take a possible top 5 spot. I won't say any more, but you'll understand why when you play the game for yourself. So, Pokemon Sun and Moon are absolutely fantastic additions to the Pokemon franchise, with an amazingly fresh take on the formula that we've experienced for 2 decades. And just like any other Pokemon game, this game reminds me why I love Pokemon so much. From the characters, the soundtrack, to the little details, to the post-game, Pokemon Sun and Moon is an absolute joy to play from beginning to end if you didn't immerse yourself with all the leaks and trailers that Nintendo put out during all the hype building ever since May. This game is just another reason why you need a 2DS or 3DS. But honestly, I recommend playing it on a new 3DS since, unfortunately, since this game runs off the X and Y engine, or at least the modified X and Y engine, unfortunately they couldn't fix frame rate issues in double battles. Even though there's no 3D, which I don't really think this game needed 3D to be honest. There is 3D in the Pokemon Snap mode, but honestly, yeah, they should have fixed it. Even on the new 3DS. There's still like those frame rate issues, but those issues aside, SOS battles aside, slowest frick start to the plot aside, I honestly think these games are absolutely a joy to play. So do yourself a favor and save up that money for whichever version you want, or better yet, get a 3DS, ask your parents, ask your grandparents for the 3DS and Pokemon Sun and Moon for this Christmas. You'll love your parents, and they will love you for it. Just get these games. They are so fantastic. They are absolutely fantastic. Like, I wouldn't call them my favorite, but Gen 7, if they keep going on with it, like, if they do release, like, a sequel or third version that improves on it, I think Gen 7 might be a tie for Gen 4 as my favorite generation, honestly. So, yeah, just get Sun and Moon. They're really good. They're fantastic, like I've been saying. But anyway, sorry about the long wait for these, by the way. Of course, I've been busy with a lot, schools and such. But I have been recording the next LP, which, should be happening within a couple of days. I'll just say that right now. Just wait 2 more days, and all of your questions will be answered, if you had any in the first place. So with that being said, I will indeed see you guys on the next edition of Platinum Impressions, which Steam sales happened, and maybe I'll take a certain look at a certain game that's been called an abomination to the Mega Man franchise. Mighty Number 9. Possibly. See you guys on the next time. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.